My name is Corey Bishop, and this is Bones to Life. There are stories that unfold like dawn, slow, soft, and full of quiet mercy. Stories where God keeps whispering through the years, calling a heart forward one small step at a time. Today, I get to sit down with one of those stories. Her name is Brianna Finan. Brianna's journey hasn't been a straight line. There were seasons where she felt God tugging at her spirit, and moments where she inched toward him with baby steps of faith. But she never quite crossed the threshold. And yet, God never stopped reaching, never stopped inviting, never stopped loving. In time, life grew heavy. Her mind and her heart weathered storms she never expected to face. But even in that place, especially in that place, God met her with a tenderness that didn't demand perfection, only openness. And when she finally turned toward him with an honest, unguarded heart, she discovered what had been true all along. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. That's from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. Today, Brianna joins us to share how God wove his strength into her weakness, how he turned her wandering steps into a homecoming, and how grace became the ground she could finally stand on. This is a story of return, a story of healing, a story of a God who never lets go. So open your minds and open your hearts as Brianna tells her story.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for another day with air in my lungs to serve you and bring glory to your kingdom. Thank you for this space, Father, and thank you for bringing Brianna to me with the courage to tell her story, to share it with the world, and hopefully reach a few other lives to bring them to you. God, I hope that you help us here in this room to find the right words, to inspire the right people, and to move their hearts to bring them closer to you. It's in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. It's now your turn, Brianna. I'm excited to hear your story.
Okay. So I grew up not super religious at all. My dad's family is Catholic, but my mom's family didn't really do much of a church thing. So I was baptized Methodist, went to preschool at a Methodist church, but never, we didn't go too often after I turned like 4 or 5. And then we moved when I was 8, went to that church 3 or 4 times, moved again, did not go to church again. So by the time I was 10, church wasn't in the picture. And as far as church when I was little, or God at all when I was little, it was, we prayed at night before bed, we went to church on Sundays, and that was about the extent of it. So I didn't know him really. I just knew the check boxes.
Yeah, I get that.
So then I was an emo kid in middle school. I hung out with the rebellious little emo girls and me, and we all wore our black clothes and listened to emo people music, and we wanted to join a group for talking about our feelings, because at the time there was this TV show called If You Really Knew Me or something like that on MTV.
I do think I remember that one.
Yeah, and they went to a school and they'd have people in groups, and it was, if you really knew me, you'd know this. And then everyone would, the popular kids, the jocks, the emo kids, the losers, everyone all together would just be kind for once. And we thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And our school introduced something like that. So we all joined this group. And we didn't really know much about what it was going to be. But on day 1, we watched this video and realized it was a church thing.
Surprise.
Surprise. And we stuck it out. We went, but we weren't there for God. We were there to have an after-school activity where we didn't have to do a sport. And we could just see our friends and talk about our feelings because we were really good at talking about our feelings. And we had a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
So we're in this group, and it's ran by our now pastor, Ken. So that's how I met Ken. And that made a good impression on me. And even though I wouldn't admit it to anyone, I kind of liked the church thing, the Jesus thing.
Yeah.
I was kind of into it. None of my friends were into it, but I just kind of let it sit on the back burner. And we found out that this church existed and that it was meeting at our school on Sundays. I let that sit in the back of my head, continued on to be a rebellious, crazy high schooler, graduated, and went on to a 19-year-old party phase for about a year, which was not like a fun party phase. It kind of turned into a self-destructive, living in a trailer with two guys and, drinking and drugs daily party phase, which I thought was fun at the time. It's not fun, but that's what I did for at least a year. And then my friend's mom, we didn't take care of the house at all. The house was garbage. I mean, holes in the walls everywhere because these two guys would fight. I mean, it was ridiculous the number of fights that I was breaking up between these two guys who were both interested in me and I was interested in both. It was this awful period. But my friend's mom came over and saw the house, called my parents and said, hey, she can't live here like this. Because they didn't know what was going on. They just knew that I didn't want them around right now. So they pulled me out. My appendix burst, or almost burst. My appendix, they did emergency surgery at like 1 a.m. kind of thing, which apparently they don't do. They normally schedule that kind of thing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I go into the hospital and I'm in pain. They do my appendix surgery. My friend's mom comes into the house to grab things for me and sees what we're in, and everyone removes me from this house. And I moved back home with my parents, moved back in with those guys for another couple months, realized, okay, no, this is garbage. Moved back in with my parents and got back together with my now husband, Cody, after. But he is also going through a party phase at the time. So we went into a different party phase, which was the more fun party phase. But it was still, a party or two every weekend. Everyone's drinking. Everyone's doing drugs. And then those people started going down the heroin phase.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about that. Cody wasn't about that. But they were about that. And we decided it was time to move. So we got our own place and moved out. And within about 2 weeks of moving out, we found out I was pregnant with our oldest. And we had not the healthiest relationship because we were living in not the healthiest environments for the last couple years. And it was a difficult time for a while. I mean, we were so happy to have a baby. We were engaged. Everything seemed great on paper, but we were still not doing things the right way. And all of our friends were still those people. We just kept them at a distance.
Yeah.
We decided we wanted to go to church. And we only knew about that church that used to meet in our high school from that group that we attended after school. And went to that church, and they were out on the land that day doing, I think it was Pastor Appreciation Week, because there was a potluck after. And we're showing up, never been there before. And they're outside with free food. And it's my first time. I like free food.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Right. And they're all so nice. I'm like, okay, I'm about this. And we go, and the whole sermon was about Jonah and the whale and Nineveh. And it was a really hard-hitting moment where it was, how many times have you had an opportunity and you've just ran? And I would keep running. I mean, I had an opportunity to ask my parents to go to church, and they always said, we would take you if you want to go. I never said I wanted to go. I could have gone when I was in high school, and I found out about the church, and I never wanted to go. And now I'm here, and I'm thinking about how many times God might have stepped in, pulled me out of that house, made my appendix almost burst, got me pregnant, and moved me out of essentially a trap house. Maybe not got me pregnant, but moved me out of essentially a trap house. And we're here. And I need to be done running. So we started coming to church every week. We had our son dedicated. We both got baptized at Dotsie's house. I mean, we were still in the high school back then, so this was 2017. And it was really good. And then I went through postpartum psychosis when I quit breastfeeding. And my mind convinced me that I needed to just shut in for a long time because there was no mental health help available for me for 3 months. The only thing they could offer me was putting me in an inpatient facility because I had lost my mind. I thought bombs were going off outside my house. I thought the president was going to come kill me. We went to church the one day, and it was close to Easter, and I was convinced that the only way to show my love was to sacrifice myself the same way Jesus did. And I left church, and I'm like, well, I can't do that again. So I didn't go back anymore. In that time period, up until that point, I was working on partnership. So I was like probably 5 or 6 weeks into my 12-week partnership training. And this happens. And we go from the doctor's office where we're talking about my meds to the partnership thing. And we're talking about, hey, let's pause partnership and just kind of focus on making sure you're all right. And I ended up backing out of everything entirely. And I stopped going to church. And things started going downhill again. I didn't realize it. But instead of pursuing God in that time, not that I was capable of really controlling my brain much, but instead of surrounding myself with people that would cover me with the Lord, I was running again. So I ran for a couple years. We didn't go back to church. We would watch it sometimes once COVID hit and things were virtual. We were watching it. We would go every now and then, but it was never what it was. I never fully dived back into it. I was never living it. I was checking the boxes again.
I was going to say you reverted back to checking the boxes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have, I have this baby. Everything's great. I have my soon-to-be fiance. He was going to propose again because we called that off for a while. And we thought everything was going really well. My son had a really bad health issue that happened, and the church was really supportive through that. So I knew they were there. I didn't pursue them. I didn't pursue God. I didn't pursue the people that actually wanted to be around me. And I had 2 close friends who were the only people I hung out with, who eventually started going down the witch road, the like new age spiritual thing. And at first I was very not about it. But I mean, I grew up reading my horoscope and didn't think anything about it. I grew up, someone would read your palm and I didn't care. I went through a tough time and my friend brought me to a psychic. She was wrong, but I was cool with it. It didn't bother me, but I wasn't going to take part in it. But I let it be my two best friends, and I'm hanging out with them every day, and our kids are growing up together, and we have our little play group, and I don't know. They weren't pushing it on me, but they were very anti me even talking about God. They didn't want to hear it at all. We ended up moving into my mother-in-law's house. My father-in-law was pretty sick, to help out, keep things around the house. Plus it saved us some money, so it worked out. And things were going well for us, despite not really focusing in on church. And we decided we wanted to get married, and Ken agreed to marry us if we did premarital counseling. And so we did with him. We did the steps. I don't know how much of the actual homework he gave us that we did. I mean, I read at least a couple of the books that he told us to read, but sorry, Ken.
Ken, if you're listening, you didn't hear this part.
No, hey. I don't think we did everything the way we should have. But we got married and we decided our son is 2, he's going to be 3 soon. We want to have another baby. And I have always wanted like 4 kids. Big family. Cody's been on board. But I have some health things that I was told when I was 17 I'd be infertile. But I'm like, I have a kid. So clearly they were just wrong. They weren't very wrong. Spoiler. So I proceeded to have 3 miscarriages in a row. I mean, I would get pregnant, miscarry 2 weeks later, less than a month later, I'd get pregnant again. It was just a cycle. And both of those friends got pregnant at the same time as me. So I had one friend where we found out we were pregnant a day apart from each other. She carried to full term. She had a beautiful, healthy baby, and, bless her. I'm so happy for her. That ended up being the downfall of our relationship, because I don't know if they just didn't get it or if I focused too much on it or how it worked, but it ended up being where my one friend felt that I resented her baby, and I didn't, but I can see where that came from, because then I faced 2 years of infertility, and I felt like I didn't really have these friends. They were doing their own pregnancy journey thing together. My husband's working. I'm alone with my son all the time. It's just me. I don't have my church family because I'm not doing that. I don't have friends. My family lives 45 minutes away. I mean, I live with my mother-in-law, but even at the time, we were fighting over stupid things all the time. So I joined TikTok, and that became my friend. And I would just use that as my outlet because I felt like I couldn't go to my in real life friends. And then things started getting bigger on there, and I let that become a major idol to me. I mean, I used it to make money, which was great. But the things that made the most money were bra ads. I'm not the type of person now that would ever go and parade myself around in a bra online. But I made $600 to do it for one video, so I did it. I spent my time on TikTok, making videos, making money for TikTok. It became my job, and it was most of what I focused on. And I got pregnant. I had our baby. He was preterm. My water broke at 30 weeks. And when he was in the NICU, that went even more viral. So it was like I'm going through these hard times, and my little idol over here is almost, they weren't cheering it on. People are being supportive, but it felt like this, almost like a positive over there, because I was making more money from it. More sponsorships would come in from it. And it was this weird back and forth. And even though I wasn't actively going to church, the church family brought me dinners. And I didn't want them. And I agreed to it because free food. I like free food.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it. Like, people would show up with the food and I didn't answer the phone, and they would just leave it on the porch. Which they didn't have to do. But they did.
Because they cared about you.
Yeah. I mean, I went to church the week I had him, and everyone's congratulating me. I didn't want to be congratulated. I'm upset. My kid's at the hospital. And everyone's going, like, you just had a baby. This is amazing. And you're walking around and you look great. Da, 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 da. And my heart is at the hospital. And I wasn't putting together the pieces of, these are the people that are supporting you. There are people that are praying for you. There are people that are here to help you. There's a whole community here for you. And I just didn't want to see it. So I went back to ignoring church again. I'm really good at running. It should be the whole moral of this story. I'm really good at running. And then mental health got really bad with TikTok because I just couldn't keep up the charades anymore. You have to kind of keep this like appearance of, even though you're not aesthetic, there's still a level of aesthetic. There's still, you have to post a certain number of times a day to appease this magical algorithm. And I would even post that I was a Christian, but I would call myself a crystal Christian because I had crystals from my friends that gave me crystals and helped me buy crystals. And I would put them on my Bible and take little pictures for Instagram. I think I read 2 verses that day. Like, not 2 verses.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't doing it. I just go through these weird ups and downs of not committing to anything ever. And I went to therapy, and she was like, just maybe don't do TikTok anymore. It's clearly not good for your health. So I stopped TikTok, and which meant the money stopped, which wasn't cool. So I got a job and started working, and then went full time, and then started at my now job, which I love my now job. And things got really, really bad again. And I'm not going to say names because I know they don't make this public, but 2 people very close to me got cancer. Both in my family. One of them was stage 4 melanoma that metastasized to the bone, which is not normally good. When you look it up, it says like 2 to 4 months. And then the other person has stage 2 lung cancer. And then there were relationship issues again. And all these major events start happening, and I'm stuck. And I just went completely numb. I was out of friends. I don't really talk to many people. I was out of sources. I kept saying to my husband, I don't have any of my vices anymore. what do I do now? And I would just sit there at night and stare at the wall and do nothing. And then I was working from home because I'm a hybrid worker. And I would listen to podcasts and videos and watch movies, and well, not movies, but, long YouTube videos. And a Bible podcast that I used to listen to, which is all girly, and I love the girliness, popped up on my YouTube feed, and I haven't watched that in years. So I was like, screw it. I turned it on. And at the end of the video, I'm listening to it. I'm like, yeah, this sounds great. But like every time I go to do this, I don't want it. Like I go do it because I want it, but I don't actually want it. I go home, I don't read the Bible. I go home and I don't live by it. I'll go to church, I'll do the things. It sounds great. But I don't ever commit. So what's the point? In the end, they were praying for the desire to want it.
I feel like he told you that you needed to listen to that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, out of nowhere, it's on my feed. I don't watch it for years. I mean, the last time I watched it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And
that's incredible.
Yeah. And I just cried. And it was intense. So then I spent the rest of the day just listening to more podcast episodes when I'm of them. When I went on my lunch, I just opened the Bible and I'm like, all right, show me where we're working. And we were in Proverbs 136 or something like that. I remember it was Proverbs 1 something because I'm like, this is a random spot. And it fit and I read it and I was happy and I just continued the day. And I was like, okay, if I actually want this, I should be able to get up tomorrow and do something about it. So I just kept praying to want it. Like, Lord, give me the desire to do this. I want you, but make me want to do the things to make that happen. And the next day I had an alarm set for 5:30 and I woke up before the alarm. I don't wake up early. So I started this routine of waking up every day at 5:30 in the morning, reading the Bible, having my coffee, and that's how I start my day still now. And this was probably 9 months ago. And that's my daily routine. I listen to Bible podcasts and worship music my whole day while I'm working because it keeps me on the right path. And then I have the desire to want it. And now I can see it moving. It's not just, yeah, I'm a Christian. It's my God. It's my Jesus, and Jesus wants me. And there's a real relationship outside of what you're supposed to say. And I was able to stop cursing and stop saying, I say, oh my gosh, now. And those things were like the first little check marks. And I'm like, well, I should be able to do that. And I did that. I'm like, well, I should be able to do this then. And I do that. And I'm like, okay, well, what do we do next? So I keep asking God to prune me and find different pieces that we need to pick out, because I know I have a long way to go still, but I don't know what the next thing has to be to rip out of me. But I can ask him these things, and it never occurred to me to ask him to do things. I just thought I was supposed to be this perfect Christian girl once you find Jesus.
Yeah. You kind of thought that you had to do it on your own.
Yeah. Which is actually backwards.
Yeah, it's completely backwards. I do like how you put that, though, how he has to continue to prune you. I've never heard it put that way before. I like that. That's
Thank
neat.
you. Yeah. Now my kids, are into it. And my husband's starting to really be into it more because we both got baptized at the same time, but I don't think either of us were really walking it.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, outside people will see it and they'll say something to me, and I'm going, whoa, it's working. It's happening. And that is bizarre to me, how it's actually happening. And I just had to ask to want it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I feel like I missed big things and that I said a lot of things that didn't make sense, but they're all there.
I want to point out, too, when you were talking about how you were presented with so many opportunities to turn away and to turn back to God and to fix your situation, and you didn't want to see it. I think you hit the nail right on the head with that one, because a lot of times we expect God to just give us things, and we don't open ourselves to really understand and really see what's presented in front of us. Like, God's not going to physically hand us something, but he does put us in positions or put other people into our lives to present these situations to us, present these opportunities to us. And we don't see it because we're not open to it. So once you finally realize that and you see it for what it is, God reaching out to you or God speaking to you, it makes a world of difference. It really does. So with your story, if there's someone listening that's going through a valley in their life, what is one piece of advice you can pull from your story that you would like them to hear to try to help them out of it?
You are not alone, and I know that sounds cheesy, but it's not in the you're not alone, people love you way. It's in the you have never been alone. You will never be alone. He knows exactly where this is going to go already. And you don't have to worry about it. You have to just don't trust anything that your mind is going to tell you. You have to keep your eyes on him. He's going to do what has to be done. And he's with you. Like, he's literally holding your hand while you're going through this. He can hold you while you're going through it. You don't have to put yourself in a corner and feel isolated. Because that's what I would do. It's just, I'd either reach out to anything and everything I could grab or suck myself into nothing. And you don't need to do either. You are already being held. And that's something that you have to realize.
As we close, let Brianna's story rest with you like a soft glow at day's end. A reminder that God's grace meets us right where we feel weakest. Her journey shows us that even when our steps are small or uncertain, God keeps calling, keeps holding, and keeps healing. If you're carrying your own heaviness today, may her testimony remind you that God is patient with your process and present in your pain. His strength is still being made perfect. His love is still reaching. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Brianna, for sharing the beauty God is writing in your life. If you have your own story to tell, please reach out, bonestolifepodcast@gmail.com. Remember to follow the show on Spotify and leave a rating. You can also follow over on Facebook at Bones to Life. Until next time, let's keep these dry bones rattling.